Welcome to the channel, Gaming Army. This
acquired.
video finds us in our Raven. It is the Raven 3L, and this drop was originally intended
acquired.
as proof of concept in the build idea I had for this mech.
New target
Little did I
acquired.
know when I dropped into this match what was about
New target
to
acquired.
happen.
Sorry.
So obviously we're playing a skirmish match
New
on
target
Canyon
acquired.
Network. So let's talk a little bit about this concept I have with this build. So the
Target
Raven is
spotted.
outfitted with 3 ER medium lasers, 2 rocket launcher 20s, the biggest engine I can find and
Target
slap
spotted.
into it, giving me a top speed of 136.5 kph. It's also outfitted with stealth armor for sneakiness and a Beagle active probe to enhance sensors. Now, the Raven comes with a plus 100% quirk
Target
on
spotted.
sensor range. I wanted to take that to the next level.
Airstrike activated.
The concept is simply this. Early game, we're going to use our superior sensors to scout the enemy for my teammates. Yes, you read that sensor range correctly.
New target acquired.
I'm going to hold locks wherever possible, maybe add in some chip damage if the situation presents itself. And once I've identified a proper target, I am going to do a full
Target spotted.
alpha run on the back of that enemy target. I have a 95 alpha and hopefully take someone out. Now, we've done a great job scouting, spotting, and holding locks, first with the Marauder, then the Sun Spider,
Target spotted.
and
Target
now back to
acquired.
the Marauder who's pushing in. My Crab is choosing to take this fight. I don't think this is a great matchup for him, and this probably is not going to end well. I also have to be aware
Target
of the Sun
acquired.
Spider still to my left, although it looks like a teammate has him
Target
under pressure.
destroyed.
I'm trying to help the
Target
Crab as
acquired.
much as possible at this point, but it's just too little, too late with my measly 15 damage. And luckily I have an assault mech pushing in to help out with this Marauder, so I will continue to add support fire as much as possible, and it looks like we're getting some missile support as well, so we should be able to
Target
take down
destroyed.
the enemy Marauder, removing an assault mech from the board. The enemy
Target
still has a
acquired.
very strong Delta 5 presence, so I'm going to focus the 2 lingering units in Charlie 5, namely the Catapult, who thinks he's being sneaky hiding behind that rock, and his buddy the Thunderbolt up above him, getting
New
in some
target
back shots
acquired.
as they pull back. Now the good news is they
New
are
target
falling back to
acquired.
Delta 5,
Experiencing
and
Colossus.
it looks
Don't
like
get
my
sloppy out
teammates
there.
want to push towards Delta 5. So I'm going to do a quick hit and run mission for a UAV. I want to put a UAV up behind the enemy position
Target
so that
spotted.
my teammates
New
can see what they're
target
running
acquired.
into. At least that's what I thought at the start of this run.
UAV
But it
activated.
becomes a whole lot spicier because now I've got the Thunderbolt and the Catapult. And the Catapult is looking at me. And I don't want him to with all those
Target
missiles.
spotted.
And then I see the Thunderbolt and I decide to go for my alpha
target
attack
acquired.
plan, which manages to open up his rear CT. It doesn't kill him outright, but I want to take him out for 2 important reasons. Number 1, he had his back to me, and number 2 is he was sporting dual AMS, and I want my teammates' missiles to be more effective. I do a quick once around with the Catapult, trying to get him into a position on the left so that I can squeeze past him on the right-hand
New
side,
target acquired.
heading back towards my friendly units through the enemy lines instead of going deeper into what I think is enemy-held territory. I need to get back to support. So we managed to make it back, and now I'm going to extend and evade a little bit. I need to cool off, reassess what the battlefield looks like, what the
target
enemy position
acquired.
is,
We've lost half our
and
force.
just take
Target
a
destroyed.
quick breather after that
New target
insane and
acquired.
intense few moments behind the enemy lines. Now, I was expecting the enemy to be Delta 5 towards Echo 4, but just in this short amount of time, it looks like they have re-pushed more towards Charlie
New target
5.
acquired.
So I'm going to move in and find a Warhammer 2C, target Kilo, and he is at the back of their line, so I'm
The
going to
enemies
do
are
some
half depleted.
peeking
Keep
and
pushing.
poking,
Target
getting some
spotted.
damage on this mech because he is LRM 15 heavy. I do have to be aware that he has a couple of heavy medium lasers as backup weapons, and those can still do considerable damage to my light mech. So what I'll do instead is try to hold locks on him, get the missile support from my teammates while I add chip damage. I'm trying to get through that left torso, and I'm getting all arm instead. I thought if I aimed a little higher, maybe I could get shots into the left torso, but I'm content to take the left arm as well. He's decided he doesn't like getting the focus of all this attention, and he wants to relocate, so I'm going to pursue, and he is running back to his teammates, which is good for him, bad for me, because here comes a Rifleman 2C. I do not want to face him down. I've got to get out of here, even though there is a heavily damaged Shadowhawk in the low ground that I would love to get a shot on. I cannot take on a Rifleman 2C in this mech, so I've got to do some bobbing, weaving, and try to confound that 2C, but it looks like he is making it his mission to hunt me down. I mean,
new target acquired.
He's kind of taking this personal. I don't know. Now, there is something very odd about this Rifleman 2C. Let me know in the comments if you have spotted the oddity. I'll tell you what, I didn't notice it at the time in the heat of battle, but it does become very apparent here as to what's going on with this particular mech. I am just trying to be as evasive as possible because, again, it won't take much to open up a Raven. They are very paper thin and light on the armor, as you can see earlier in the loadout schematic. And he is down a set of weapons, which is good news for me. He's open in his CT and left torso, and it looks like he wants me to perform a Dr. Kevorkian on him. He's going to stand still, let me take his back and put him out of his misery. Unfortunately, my laser burns aren't up to snuff, and I'm having trouble getting through his back armor. It's another oddity about this particular mech, because I know I'm only doing 15 damage, but it should have been enough to take him out of the game by now, and now he decides to become evasive. And I'm chasing him, trying to land that back shot. I managed to take left torso, and here's where I shoot him right in the butt. That should have registered rear CT, and I saw something flash on his legs. So call this hit registry faux pas? I don't know. We finally land the killing shot, but the damage is done. He held me down long enough for the catapult to move back in. This is not a good situation to be in. All of those SRMs, and that's why I didn't want to face him down earlier in the game. The only thing I have going for me is the fact that I have stealth armor, and it might be hard for him to get a lock with his streak missiles. Now, unfortunately, the Warhammer 2C is up on the ridgeline as well, so now I'm fighting a Warhammer 2C and the catapult. I don't know where my teammates are. I was asking for assistance, and I suddenly realized it's just the two of us left, and each of us is fighting 2v1 on opposite sides of the board. So my teammate is on the far side, tied up with two enemy mechs, and I am engaged with my two enemy mechs. The only one that can get me out of this is me. So we're gonna suck it up, Buttercup, and see what we can do. I'm trying to focus this Warhammer, get him off the board. I think he's the more dangerous of the two at the moment, and he's being evasive, except that is not the Warhammer 2C. That is our friend the catapult. I've got to get out of here, so I'm going to do a hit and run maneuver and relocate, come at this from a different angle, but he has jump jets and comes at it from a different angle as well. Now, trying to be evasive, that's a little extra fall damage that I didn't need to take. At that exact moment, my left leg is now open. I didn't do internal damage, but I did manage to shave off the rest of my armor. And there is my buddy, the Warhammer 2C. And I don't want him to get comfortable and focus my teammate as well. So we'll do a little ring around the rosy, getting in some damage on him, and then bailing out again before I can get overly focused. So now it is death by 1,000 cuts because it's still 2 versus 4. And they definitely have the upper hand when it comes to this. I've got to be smart, sneaky, and underhanded if we're ever to have a hope of pulling this one off. Now, two very important things just happened. Number one, my teammate got another kill, and that makes the score now 9-10. Also, he has been communicating to me updates on the two mechs he was fighting. One of them is a Phoenix Hawk, which he managed to leg, and that little tidbit of information is about to become very important because there is the Phoenix Hawk Alpha, and his left leg is ready to pop, so we will help ourselves to his left leg, and suddenly it is now 10-10. There is a glimmer of hope on the horizon. The bad news is my teammate has informed me his mech is in bad shape and he is down to a single medium laser. So this is still a knockdown drag-out fight, and it's anybody's game. I am swinging back around to re-engage my buddy the Warhammer, and I want to do it from different angles, be sneaky and stealthy, and leverage all of that against his missiles that can't hit anything. He's kind of blind panic firing at me at this point, and I can easily dodge. As long as I am not predictable with my movements and where I'm peeking and poking, I have the advantage. Unfortunately, his advantage is the fact that he still has a very dangerous teammate out there in the form of the catapult. So I'm going to do another hit and run. I've got to get back out of here again in case the catapult starts circling around trying to hunt me down. Another thing I'm trying to do with my relocations is to rotate away from my teammate. I want us to be actually on opposite sides of the enemy, so that if they're focusing one of us, the other one will be able to get back shots, or at least free shots, on the enemy units. So I am purposely trying to stay at odds with his positioning. I don't want us to group up and get focused. So that's why I'm taking the long way around on some of these maneuvers. Now, another huge piece of this story is the fact that my teammate, most interesting pilot in the world, and, well, I mean, he is, but that's his name, he also has a mic, making it very easy for us to coordinate our plans, approaches, and attack patterns. That is invaluable in this situation. Now, I'm coming at the Warhammer from a different position yet again. Hopefully the catapult is not around, and there he is. Actually, he moved back towards my last known position. So I'm able to take his right torso and get a shot in on the CT before I dodge his incoming missiles. There's his laser fired. Another shot on the CT, and that CT was nice and cherry red. One more go with my lasers, and I should be able to take him out of the game. And I'm so focused on that goal that it's just now registering with me that my teammate scored the kill from the opposite angle, but that's okay. Now it is 11-10, and the last one is the catapult opened both rear side torsos. So I'm still focusing on this, and suddenly it dawns on me because of another teammate typing in chat, we don't need to kill the catapult. Technically, we can run out these last few seconds. We are ahead on kills as long as neither one of us die in the next few seconds. Our side wins. And that's exactly what happened. Oh, nice. So, switching over to our end screen, we finish what was supposed to be a trial drop with 3 kills, 5 assists, 7 components destroyed, 976 damage done.